Hi, everyone, and welcome to BookTrib After Dark, a Maramos Media production. We are really excited today to welcome New York Times and USA Today bestselling author Carrie Ann Ryan. Carrie is a contemporary romance and paranormal author who's written a number of book series, which I'm sure that you are all very familiar with, including the Talon Pack, Branded Pack, Dante's Circle, and just a couple of days ago, she released the 1001 Dark Nights Hidden Ink novella for her Montgomery Ink series. You can find a full book list on her site, including reading series order at carrieannryan.com. Welcome, Carrie. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Hi, guys.
Absolutely. So before we get started, we just want to give a nod to someone who we lost today that Carrie Ann and I both share love for. That's Mr. Alan Rickman. What a loss that we've, you know, woke up to this morning.
I
Um,
spent
I
I spent the day watching Sense and Sensibility and Galaxy Quest while writing, so it's been a tough day for that. So I'm gonna miss
Yeah,
him.
absolutely. Absolutely. I'd love to read a quote quickly. I felt kind of really resonated with our live chat today and what we kind of talk about all the time with these live chats, which is the writer and the storyteller. Um, Alan Rickman, when he wrapped his role of Snape, he wrote a letter actually to Empire Magazine and spoke of Daniel and Emma and Rupert when they were younger. He then said, "Three children have become adults since a phone call with Joe Rowling containing one small clue, persuaded me that there was more to Snape than an unchanging costume, and that even though only three of the books were out at the time, she held the entire massive but delicate narrative in the surest of hands. It is an ancient need to be told in stories, but the story needs a great storyteller. Thanks for all of it, Joe." And I just thought that was really lovely and really resonant. And we give our hats off to Mr. Alan Rickman today. Um, to the Montgomery Ink series on a bit of a higher note. Um, can you tell our readers, Carrie, where we kind of are with this 1001 Dark Nights Hidden Ink and where it fits in to the series?
So Hidden Ink is book 4.5 in the series. So it is the fourth novella after the fourth book. So it's technically the
Okay.
eighth romance going on in this world. But I wrote it so that way you can actually start right here and then go backwards before the next books come out.
Okay. Very interesting. Where do we kind of see, if you could talk about Hidden Ink itself, and maybe the characters that the readers getting introduced to, or finally getting a story for, is what I should say. Um, where does what are we seeing in Hidden Ink?
So Hidden Ink is about Sloane and Haley, who you've met in the first book called Delicate Ink, which is actually free right now everywhere. So
Oh, I get it now.
yeah. So you meet them in Hidden Ink, and they're actually Sloane is a tattoo artist at Montgomery Ink, and Haley is the cafe owner next door. And so you meet her within the first book, and she's really good friends with the heroine of the of book 1.5, Forever Ink. I sort of had Forever Ink and Hidden Ink, the two main novellas, connect a bit.
Oh, okay.
So
Smart.
yeah, so you see Sloane and Haley looking at each other from afar this entire time. And I had been wanting to write them in 2014, and it took me until this long to be able to write their story. So
Well, you got to it eventually, so I'm sure that's all the fans care
exactly,
about is that it's there. So
exactly.
what's coming next for Montgomery Ink? You've got a June and November release slated from what I see on your website. What can you tell us, or what do you want to tell us about those?
So I have two books in this series coming this year, like you said. So Ink Enduring is Maya's book, who
Okay.
she's like the kick-ass Montgomery Ink sister. There are three sisters in the main Montgomery branch, and it's
Okay.
Maya's turn. And it's her best friend Jake, and Jake's ex, Border. So it's a menage, which
Ooh,
I know. It's a contemporary menage, which you've
so
seen
excited.
you've seen Maya and Jake like fight at each other and be best friends and say and finally they're going to be able to get together. And I sort of teased what happens with this new guy in the book 4 called Written in Ink.
Okay.
And then in November, Ink Exposed comes out. And I don't want to tell you who the hero is of that, but if you know the characters and you think of the title, you can guess who it is, but I don't want to tell you yet. So, and I know I'm horrible, but I want to get you ready for it. And even before that, though, I'm doing a spin-off series with the Montgomerys called
Ooh,
The
okay.
Gallagher Brothers, and it's Jake's three brothers. And so they're all blue collar, tattooed, bearded, broody men, all three of them, and they're doing their own trilogy. And that starts in September with Love Restored. So having fun
Very
with it.
nice. Sounds fantastic. Um, oh, you froze on me there for a minute. Sorry about that. I think I cut you off. I think we have a little technical problem. Let's just see if we can get Carrie Ann back. Looks like she's trying. There she is. Hello, she's back. You can't hear me. Okay.
Hi,
Can you hear me
everybody.
now? She cannot hear me. Okay, let's see what we can do. Hi everyone, sorry about that. We're trying to get Carrie back and we'll jump right back into it. And here she comes, maybe.
Hi, guys. Can you hear me?
There she is. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yay! I
you.
hear you.
Hi.
And we're back. Sorry everyone.
You're back.
We are back. Yeah,
Sorry
sorry
about that.
everyone. Thank you for hanging in there. Okay, so I'm not quite sure where we left off, but I know I didn't hear you for a good probably 5 minutes. So I guess are you not hearing me?
You're freezing up on me. I'm sorry, guys.
Sorry everyone. Hang on. The internet sometimes, you know how that can be hard. If you are just joining us, we are talking to Carrie Ann Ryan. She is the author of Thousand and One Dark Nights novella, Hidden Ink, which is from her Montgomery series, and we are trying to get her back, trying to see if we can get her internet to work. We're going to see if her connection will work. Hopefully it does. If not, we'll let you know. She's waving, she's smiling. Can she hear
I
me?
can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
oh, there we are. Okay. I can. It
We'll
seems
just
like a
talk
low
slow
connection
not to
though, so
scare the internet.
talk really slow. Don't move. Don't throw the connection. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's try this. We're jumping back in. Do you approach the Thousand One Dark Night novels, um, novellas any differently in your writing process? I think we've lost her again, unfortunately. It seems like her connection is pretty low. We may
On
have
me. Can anyone
to.
else hear me, guys?
Oh, there she is.
Hi again.
Hi. Okay, we'll try again.
Okay, I'm so
Sorry,
sorry.
everyone. Let's see if your connection holds out. We'll keep going. Not hearing me.
I can hear you
Uh,
now. This
oh,
we're a
okay.
fun
Yep.
guys. We're
I
gonna spend 10
connection's
minutes
a little.
listening till we go like this.
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right. Your connection seems like it jumped back up. So let's get you while I have you. Nope. Okay. All right. It seems like the connection is back. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. We've still got viewers, so that's the good news. Hi, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us.
Quick, ask a
Um,
question.
the Thousand One Dark Nights novellas, do you approach them differently in your writing process at all than all of your other books or series?
I do. I
Okay.
try to think about it more of someone starting in the middle of a series rather than having a reader who knows me really well.
Okay.
So it's almost a standalone with like cameos of other people in
Okay.
it.
Interesting. Very
So
interesting. Um, how do you know Hidden Ink, as you said, is not the first novella in the Montgomery series? How do you know when you're going to write a novella and when the storyline dictates something longer or a full-length novel? How do you make those distinctions?
I usually, if they are related to the Montgomerys, then they get their own book.
Okay.
And if they work with the Montgomerys and I feel like I liked them, but I don't really see putting them in a full storyline, then I can do a novella.
Okay. Is that your kind of go-to no matter what series you're writing for as far as the novella rule?
Yeah, so that was my cat. Sorry, I'm moving the screen.
Smiley,
No,
smiley.
I know ahead of time, like how many books each series gets
Okay.
because I know how many siblings or how many best friends. But as for the novellas, those I have no idea about usually. I didn't know Haley and Sloane until later. And I actually met a new character named Brody in this book who might be out next year now.
Oh, okay. Very exciting. Um, do you ever find, I know some people say, having writer's block is not a thing, and then other people are like, it totally is. What about do you ever get stuck in your process? Like, do you ever find that you just don't know where to move, or is there too many ideas for that to happen, or did the ideas take over and then you get stuck? What's part of that?
So for me, it's not writer's block. It's either distractions or I really am not in the mood to write. And then it's not the mood to write, it's I'm not in the mood to start. And so that's when I sit down with my Skype group and we all do sprints, like 20 minutes at a time, where we turn off the internet and then we like, okay, how many words did you get?
Okay.
And that usually gets me through. With my Talon Pack series, actually, that it took me almost a full month longer to write the book than I had planned on
Wow.
because I was having issues with where I wanted the whole series to go. So on New Year's night, like at 1 in the morning, I was trying to sleep and I completely figured out exactly what my plot needed to do for the rest of the series. And so it's not
Oh,
really writer's block, it's maybe I shouldn't stand in my own way.
right. Okay. Very interesting. Um, you have a number of your paranormal series, which you've mentioned. Is there a genre or one of those genres that you prefer to write? Do you like one over the other, or is one easier than the other?
I think they're two really different. I think I like writing contemporary more than like writing paranormal right now. Probably because I'm writing a paranormal romance right now, so it's always whatever is coming next that I like the
Okay.
most.
That you're not
But
currently stuck in.
but they're both like I'm writing two Dante Circle novellas or novels right now at the same time,
Oh wow.
and so, because they take place at the same time, so it's the first time I've done it, and it's really weird, but it's working. But with paranormal, I have my own world, and I sort of can just make things up as they go along. But then sometimes I don't get to go into as much character development with certain keys, you know. But like with this book, with contemporary, I got to look into PTSD and breast cancer
Mm.
awareness because I didn't have to worry about building this whole world around it because that world's already set because it is Denver, Colorado. So I could focus on the characters more rather than how the characters react to being a werewolf in a world where the humans figured out that they're alive.
Right, exactly. Interesting. Well, I'm sure that you remember writing your first novel. Has your process changed at all? Have you noticed that um, anything in your writing has changed, or do you read your books now and think, oh, I wouldn't write that today, or
I think that the way that I define strength has changed, um, or how the way I've always wanted to define strength a certain way, and I finally am getting there because it's not about who's the toughest alpha, it's
right.
how that they can react to certain things. And my first book, people really didn't like Melanie because she walked away. She said, you know, this is scary. And so my strength that I saw with her was, well, she's making the choice to be scared.
Right.
And I didn't really understand exactly, like, I'm finally getting onto the point that I'm okay that if that's how they're going to react, then it's just going to go on the page.
Mm.
So I think that's matured, and my writing has matured a lot, and the way that I plot has matured a lot. It's very my but the plot lines are a lot deeper than they were before because there's a lot more going on, but I'm still able to look at the characters and stuff. It's a little more daunting and yet a little more fun at the same time. I'm enjoying myself. So
That's good. That's what matters most, and I'm sure that comes across in your writing. Um, you talk, hearing you talk about your characters, you talk a lot about what he will do or what he does, or I'm surprised that he did this. And for some writers, they're just like, well, you're writing it. How are you? Can you explain a little of that, how that happens for you, and how your characters kind of take over when you're writing?
so uh, I'm a chemist by trade and a mathematician by trade, so I'm very analytical. So when I say he does this or she does this, it's I'm making them do this.
Okay.
But I built that character in the first place. So if I have Haley, who she's strong in her own way, she's not going to crumble the way that another character or
Okay.
she's not going to curse at you right away because she's going to save that for when it really matters. So, I mean, I built that character, so I'm the one who decides what she says, but I'm not, but it's also well, she wouldn't say that because of the way that I've already built her.
Okay. Very interesting. In a past live chat with us, you talked about advice for paranormal authors. But what about just an author in general, who's trying to get their work out there? Do you have any advice? Maybe what should they do first? Start a blog, social media? What do you think, say, a self-published author should turn to first?
Well, first, I would know what you want to write and don't just chase a trend. And make sure that you're ready with more than just the one book because no matter what promotion I've done, no matter how many different ways I've tried to do things, my series don't actually take off or do well as I like them to go until I have the next book out.
Hmm.
So it's make sure that you like what you're writing and you know you can sell it and then get ready to say, okay, it's out. Now let's work on the next one. So
Interesting.
it's kind of sucks to have to say goodbye to the first one, but you have to be like as you can see on my coming soon. I'll be done with April's book. Like I'm done with February's book. I'm done with the March one. I'm I'll be done with April's this week, and I'm going to be done with um, May's at the end of the month. So
Oh, my goodness. Um, so talking about that, Made It in Mint obviously is coming up next in February. Very excited for that. If you can tell us anything, I'm sure everyone would love to hear it. And
some
also that whole thing, that schedule that you were just mentioning, anything that you can tell us about what's around the corner.
so so Made It in Mist releases February 16th, and that is Talon Pack Book 3. And that is about Ryder, who is the oh my word, I can't think of words. He's the heir to the Talon Pack, meaning he's the second eldest brother. So he's the second eldest brother, and he's the one who no one really knows anything about. And so that was kind of fun to be like, well, I know what he's about, so let me show you. And the heroine is a witch with no coven, and you met her briefly in the second book. And so now it's a witch with no coven and a brother who doesn't feel he belongs, and they are mates, and they're in the middle of this, at the bridge of this war. And so that's their book, and it comes out next month.
Interesting. Can't wait.
And then,
Yeah.
oh, so then next after that, I guess my April book is the next new book, and it's called Immortal Song, and it's book 6 in the Dante Circle series, and book 7 comes out. The book 7 and the last book comes out in May. So book 6 is a menage between a merman, a fae, and a human.
Oh my goodness. Amazing.
It's the idea of the series is 7 women get struck by lightning and they all turn into different paranormal creatures. So my goal is every single person in this series is a different paranormal creature.
Okay. Very cool.
So
Okay.
I did the wolves and I did the bears and I did the dragons and now I'm at a merman. So
Um, Speaking of series, all the different series that you write, you do have two, from what I saw on your site, two standalone novels that you've written. How do you, is it hard because you do so many series to then switch to a standalone? Is that harder to write? Maybe
I
easier?
don't I don't read standalones. I don't like them
Okay.
because I like being able to revisit the characters. And if I'm going to start with something, I like to keep moving on. And technically, they're standalones on my website, but Finally Found You is actually connected to another
Okay.
author's book, Rebecca Royce's book called Under the Lights. Like my heroine and her hero are siblings.
Oh, okay.
So it's sort of a connected world, but still like they're not connected to any of my worlds. And then Flame and Ink is actually all of the series. They're like little sneak peeks or deleted scenes or extra novellas from Montgomery Ink and Redwood Pack and all of these all in one.
Oh, so
So technically I didn't do standalone because I
So
can't.
you just hate standalones, really, is how that works out.
I mean, I've read a few that I really love and they do really, really well. I'm a series girl. I mean, I read a book a day, so I like to just be able to go.
Oh my goodness. How do you find the time? You read ferociously and write the same way, and you're constantly pumping books out. Where do you fit that all in?
I'm lucky that I'm able to, I don't have children, and I'm lucky to be able to stay at home and do this. And I wake up every morning and I take the long commute down the hallway to get my office. And I have my coffee and I sit and I turn on Skype and I talk to my best friend Kennedy Lane every morning.
Oh.
And we turn on Skype and like we try to open our eyes and there's like no makeup going on or anything and
Right.
it's just like not good. And we talk business for an hour and then we are like, okay, no more squirrels, put down the coffee, or get another cup of coffee and let's sprint. And then we work until like 2, sometimes 5 or so. We get however many words we need mathematically for the week. And then I go do admin work and stuff. And then I read every evening, or I'll listen to an audiobook when I'm doing that evil jogging thing after I work out,
So
after I write. And so
go ahead.
I just try to do as much, like, I'm very structured because if I'm not, then I'm going to get distracted by my cats or movies or Facebook. So,
Exactly. So you read a book every night. During the night is when you read.
or two. I read really quickly.
Okay, so
So,
you're a speed
I mean,
reader.
yeah, like I finished my work earlier today, and so right when I was waiting to get on here, I opened up a book and I finished the last half of it while I was waiting.
My God.
So,
I wish I could do
yeah,
that because there's so many books that I want to read. I'm like, oh, I do not have time to read all of these.
my poor book budget's not happy, but every Tuesday I go through and I show a list of all the books that I bought, and I put it on Facebook so everyone else can go through what I go through in one click.
That's amazing. Is there anything that you haven't written that you got kind of moving around in there that you say like, you know what, I'm gonna attempt that one day?
I do, and I don't know when and if. So I have actually two series in my head that I've been wanting to write for a couple of years now,
Okay.
and I haven't had a chance to because I have to finish like Dante's Circle finishes, and then the Gallagher Brothers will come,
Okay.
and then we'll see if I get to write. I have a new adult series in my head that I've had for a while. It's just I know I've really wanted to write it, but I can't. So what I'm doing is I'm making the Gallagher Brothers first person, so I at least get that angst in my books.
Okay.
But I have this whole series in my head for that, and then I have a male series
Ooh.
that I really want to write. But it depends on time. So like maybe when the Gallagher Brothers ends or the Talon Pack in like 4 years.
Yeah.
I just don't want to add more because I do a book a year with Alexandra Ivy as well with the
Okay.
branded packs. And so it's just, I'm trying not to write 10 books a year anymore. So I'm
Yeah.
doing 9 this year.
Better.
It counts.
Do you get to a point where you say, okay, this book is done, and then you think that you finished the last book, but you're not really done, and then you find that there's more steam?
So the Redwood Pack was supposed to be over, and then I really wanted to continue in the world and write about the children, so I introduced the Talons, and that's how they came about.
Okay.
Um, People really want some of the side characters in Dante's Circles, and I honestly don't have time.
Hmm.
Same with Holiday Montana. Like I honestly just it wouldn't happen till 2040, and then by then I have more books in my head.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm physically having to say goodbye. And so like with the Montgomery Ink series, I always knew it doesn't end after the 8 siblings. The prequel to the series is one of the cousins, and the cousin has 3 sisters. So like I'm going to keep on until like book 15 in that series because it's a big family.
So jump on
So
that series now if you haven't started it yet, because there's a lot more to
exactly.
go.
And more novellas, possibly next year for Brody.
Fantastic.
So
So you're going to the RT convention in April. That's on
I
your
am.
on your schedule. What do you look forward to most about that convention?
So I actually my 30th birthday is like right before we leave, and so we're actually celebrating it on that Tuesday at RT. So I'm looking forward to that
Okay.
because all of my friends have been waiting for me to get out of my 20s, and I don't know if I'm ready.
I'm not
So
either.
there's that, and that, but I know. I'm really, really not. Like if you see me really sad in April, you know why. But no, there's that, and I'm having a fan club party, and in terms of like the agenda, the 1001 Dark Knight Sparkler, like I always love that, and it's always a blast, and I love working with these authors. And then I'm doing Tattoos and Teenies
Ooh,
with Rebecca Zanetti, Laura Kay, who else? Kylie Scott, Kristen Ashley, and Joanna Wild.
oh, that sounds so fun.
And it's you're gonna come and get free books, and there's tiny martinis and fake tattoos and
Yes,
like
sign me
I know,
up.
I know, like when they asked me to be part of it, and she's like, "No, you could think about it." I'm like, "I'm good, I'm in. Like, just put me in. I don't care." Like so things like that. And I'm doing the Wheel of Romance, and I'm doing a paranormal carnival
Hmm.
where it's a lot of paranormal authors. It's funny because there's a lot of like gay romance paranormal authors in me, but it worked. They're my friends, so it worked out. But so we're playing like little carnival games, and they're all paranormal things. So little Vegas carnival games. So.
Fun, very fun. So what's on you buy a lot of books. What's on your reading list right now that will only be there for the next week? What are you reading? What are you
I would
loving?
open my Kindle.
Oh my gosh.
I'm reading Kara Cormack right now. I just
Ooh.
finished. Let me do it here. I can do this backwards. I just finished All Lined Up. As you can tell, my Kindle's beside me as we're doing it. I just finished All Lined Up, and now I'm going to read All Broke Down. They're new adult books,
Okay. Who
but like
is
I did
that?
just finish Kara
Oh,
Cormack
it is Kara Cormack.
is her
Okay.
Rusk. Yeah. And then I just bought this book called Level Up by Kathy Yardley,
Mm,
which all of my friends said to read, so I've never heard of her, but it's a geek romance book.
okay.
Like they're both gamers and geeks, and
Cute.
I'm really, really excited to read it. So,
Okay. So that's
but
fun.
before that, I was reading Jennifer Ashley's Mackenzie series, and before that, I was rereading the entire Nalini Singh series. So
Wow.
I
Okay.
read everything.
It seems like it. So we do something fun at the end. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of our live chat. But we do a little something fun at the end called rapid fire, and it's a this or that. So whatever comes to your mind first on in the options that I give you, just spit it back at me. Writing
Okay.
during the day or at night?
Day.
Reading contemporary romance or paranormal romance?
What was the first one?
Reading contemporary romance or paranormal?
Contemporary.
Ooh, okay. Reading or writing?
Right now, reading. I have a deadline, so of course it's reading.
Right, of course. Physical copy or ebook? I see that Kindle.
And an ebook because I have no room on that shelf. That's my keeper shelf.
Nice.
Yeah, like seriously, I have no room on those, and I have RA, so I can't hold a print book anymore. So
Oh,
ebook.
okay, I understand. Twitter or Facebook? This could be a hard one.
Facebook to talk with readers, Twitter to just talk about random things.
Okay, I like it. We'll allow it.
Sorry. I do both constantly, which is probably why I need to write more.
Yes, go check out her Facebook, her Twitter, carrieandryan.com. Thank you so much for joining us today. This was a blast, and thank you, Miley Cyrus, for making a nice little
Miley Cyrus is my cat, everyone, and she just literally showed up again. So, because I think she heard you. See, like
Oh,
she's right.
oh, Miley.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you so
thank you
much. You
guys so
guys
much.
have a great night. We'll talk soon, I'm sure. Bye.
Bye.